After 5 years of protests, petitions and lobbying, Wayne Fella Morrison's family have had a win of sorts.
Even last night, I sat there with my mum down at the water last night and we bought some flowers just because this moment for us is so important to our 5-year journey, and we feel like we have to re-grieve constantly. Definitely feeling really heavy today about what's happening.
While on remand in Adelaide's Yatala prison, the 29-year-old was restrained, placed in a spithood and put face down in a police van. He was pulled out unresponsive just minutes later, but died while in hospital. The coroner is yet to deliver her findings.
The legislative ban on spithoods does not carry disciplinary action for any of the officers who applied this spithood on my brother, and that remains an issue. So for our family, on top of calling for a national legislative ban on spithoods, we also call for an independent inquiry, a royal commission into my brother's death.
Police or corrections officers will face 2 years in prison if they use spithoods.
There is no question, absolutely none, that the barbaric and archaic use of spithoods has no place in our community.
And it had the support of the major parties in both houses.
Always have to say aye, those who say no, let's carry.
At that time, my mum and I very much felt bitter that it took so long. But now, 2 months later, despite the delays and the injury that's caused, justice delayed is justice denied, here we do stand with a little bit of hope that we can leave this chapter behind us.
While it's banned across the country for youth, it's still used for adults in facilities across the Northern Territory, Queensland, WA and Victoria. Justice departments say it's only used when there's a significant safety issue, but it's also a safeguard for the officers, from prisoners spitting saliva and blood.
We know that despite governments saying they're not used, there are still people in our community who have the trauma of their use, and that matters and their lives matter. To the argument about health and spit and saliva and transmission of bloodborne diseases and viruses across the globe, we've seen research where that's not true. The amount of risk for that versus my brother's death and the risk of death is much more important to keep people safe rather than officers who also can wear their own PPE, personal protective equipment.
South Australia's decision is the first step in what the family hopes will become a national movement.
We know that this step towards accountability means that other people may be in a similar position to Wayne, but also in mental health facilities, hospitals, detention and even refugee detention centres, hopefully will not have to be subject to this kind of torture.